Hey, I'm back again. Episode 3 of You Had to Be There podcast, they were talking about summertime. And clearly my long-term memory is failing me because I can't really decipher what I did in middle school to high school. But I do have a sneaky feeling that middle school was more like family-based because you were still young and you didn't really have any freedom and you were kind of forced to do things. Whereas high school, you were an adult. Well, you were sort of an adult. You were 13 years old. And you're in your teens and you were more trustworthy. I don't know. So you could kind of do whatever you wanted. But I'm sure among my middle school to high school years, during my summer times, I spent a lot of time outside, aka at the park, playing on the slides, playing on the swings. I know I met up with neighbors and we would be swinging on the swings and like talking. I also had a swing in my backyard where I would bring out my boom box from my bedroom, bring it outside, plug it in, put it on a chair next to the swing, and our backyard was pretty small. And I would be swinging and belting out the words to the Spice Girls songs, to Aqua songs, to songs I probably didn't quite understand. I loved that naivety of myself and the fact that I think my parents also did too, because they're like, she doesn't understand what that really means. Okay, it's fine. Let her go. Let her do what she wants. But I'm sure my neighbors were probably like, wow, what is she doing? She's belting out these words to these songs that are so inappropriate. But hey, Aqua, Spice Girls, some of the NSYNC songs, Backstreet Boys, they were catered to us. They were catered to us. So of course we're going to belt out these words and not know what any of them means or any of the like hidden meanings are. Let's see what else. I probably camped. I know I distinctly remember, I want to say it was probably middle school. I don't know. But I camped at some campground with a friend of mine and my dad took us and he had a pickup truck, but it was like with a cab. And I remember after the fact, and I don't know if it was like maybe like the next day or like as I got older about it, but I found out that we ended up sleeping in the cab of the truck versus the tent because apparently a neighboring campsite, the people there were like getting it on. And like I think my mom might have been with us that time. I don't know. When she comes, I think she only spent like one night with us versus multiple nights. But they told me that, unless I'm making this up, but this does not surprise me, that like we were in the truck versus the tent because of all the noises. Pretty funny. So let's see, what else? I mean, I probably played in the sprinklers. Who didn't? I rode my bike a lot. I was a bike girl, not a rollerblading girl. I had a friend who rollerbladed, and one would rollerblade and I would bike because I apparently was not coordinated enough to have rollerblades. I don't know that I ever tried, but I was the bike girl. But we would be riding bikes. There is a nearby cemetery, and there was this giant hill that we would ride down from like the clock tower, and we would, just go at it. So, not necessarily cause trouble, but probably still weren't supposed to be there. I don't know. So let's see, what else? I don't know. There's a part of me that watching all of these videos with the You Had to Be There podcast with these girls that like, while they were all separate cities they lived in and they didn't meet up until they started their Instagram stuff, and became probably good friends, hence why they made a podcast, that they all shared this common theme in my head on being like the popular girl or I'm guessing. I have no idea. They probably all beg to differ. But some of these stories that they share, I'm like, oh, you were one of those people. I saw you from afar. I was probably, I mean, it's interesting to note that I didn't fall within that group. The upcoming episode is talking about fashion, and in one of the teaser clips, they're like, oh, did you roll up your softies? I didn't get the softie shorts until I was in college. No, after college. And I wore them as jammy shorts. I currently wear them as jammy shorts. So it's just, it's interesting, like the different dynamic. I mean, all these girls probably were in sororities, and like they had like, I mean, they were talking about, oh, I want to take a tan during the summer. Okay, I wanted to get tan when I was in college. I don't know about high school, but I was kind of not into wearing sunscreen. And obviously now as an adult, I'm kind of like, well, crap, that was a bad idea. But like they had, you know, well, to be fair, when I was younger, I had longer hair. It was blonde, so there was no reason for me to lighten it. Well, I'd say long. It was probably like shoulder length, ponytail worthy. And there was no reason for me to lighten it. But these chicks are talking about, oh, I put like tannin in my hair. I don't know that I had friends that did that, and if they did, I clearly didn't care because I was like, oh, I have blonde hair. I don't have to do this, haha. Like, I don't know. It's interesting to see how the other side lives or lived in that time, and I think that's why I'm so fascinated by these videos. And I clearly have to tell you why I'm fascinated with these videos. So yeah, so I probably got off topic a little bit as per usual. If you watched any of my prior videos of reviews, I tend to circle around, but that's all I got. And we'll see if I continue with my thought process or not, or if I let this go.